what the Fed is supposed to do with this dearth of data. There's obviously enough to work with for next week, but there are questions about what happens after that. If we're in for some kind of record shutdown here, as somebody who serves on Financial Services Committee, what's the Fed to do?
Well, look, I think the Fed's in a tough spot. I think Powell needs this information to make a wise decision, as do the Board of Governors, including one here in Kansas City. They need this information. That's why President Trump has made changes in the past to the person who actually puts this information together. But, yeah, you've got to have the right information. And Chuck Schumer standing in the way by not voting with other Democrats in the Senate to vote for this simple extension of current government funding. This is just one of the repercussions. We're seeing it all over our district. The other repercussions, people not going to have food stamps next month, money running out for women, infants, and children, money running out for our military. We found the money President Trump did to pay our military, but come next pay period, the Democrats in the Senate just voted yesterday not to pay them, not to pay other essential employees in the U.S. government. I think that's despicable.
And Democrats, of course, also floated their own bill when it came to some other essential employee funding.
But they just wanted 1 week. They didn't want, we wanted for the entirety of the shutdown, and they're trying to use that as leverage. Catherine Clark was very clear with her interview with Chad Pergram on Fox that they needed this leverage of pain in America so that people would get on their side. We're not negotiating. There's nothing to negotiate.
Well, Congressman, I do want to ask you about one point that you just made about this idea of a simple extension. Right now, the stopgap measure that lawmakers are voting on would fund the government until November 21st. We did hear from the Senate Majority Leader John Thune earlier this week, actually saying maybe it is time for the House to start thinking about coming back into session because you're going to need a little bit more runway, potentially. Do you think that your chamber should come back into session for this? Is a November 21st stopgap, is that date really still viable?
I think it's very reasonable, and I think our chairman, Tom Cole, came out with a statement earlier this week saying that we can get this work done. Look, against a lot of odds, we got all 12 appropriation bills out of committee this year. Some of the Democrats were offering 40 and some odd amendments to these individual bills. We had 12 14-hour days of hearings and debate. We debated all these spending bills. We came up with about 7.3% in cuts overall. We cut 9 of the 12 subcommittees. We gave plus-ups to Homeland Security, our defense, as well as military construction VA. We got 3 off the House floor. And all we were asking is 7 more weeks to get our job done. The Democrats don't want us to return to regular order. They want a big omnibus bill at the end of the year, and we're not doing that.
Congressman, your colleague from Missouri who chairs the Ways and Means Committee was with us yesterday. Jason Smith made some news suggesting that he was behind the idea of a full year CR that had been floated by John Thune and even the White House a couple of months ago. I just want you to listen to what he told us, and we'll have you respond. Here's the chairman.
December 21st, 2026 is what I've been hearing up here as a suggestion, as an opportunity of a continuing resolution. As we know, we're operating under a year-long resolution from last year. We're looking at what was appropriated when Biden was president.
I know we're basically living under perpetual CRs. I know it sounds like it. Congressman Alford,
2024 numbers.
You're talking about regular order, which would be a pretty amazing thing to see take place. But if that is the solution, would you back it, a full year CR?
Well, look, if leadership was behind this, I don't think they will. But I have the utmost respect for Jason. He is one of my dearest friends and mentors. And he loves Missouri and loves the United States of America and done a great job as Ways and Means. He was really instrumental in getting the One Big Beautiful Bill reconciliation through the House and also helped in the Senate with his influence there. But I also trust in Chairman Tom Cole. If he says that we can get this done, I have complete confidence that we can get this done. We just need a little time to get these 9 bills. They may not all be separate bills. We may have to do mini buses where we group 2 or 3 together, but we can get this done. The time has come for us not to operate Congress on continuing resolutions. We are still on 2024 budget numbers that Biden came up with, and our military can't move forward with new programs that they need to deter thugs around the world like Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin. These programs that are vital to our national defense. We cannot continue to operate America under continuing resolutions. And so while I understand where Chairman Smith is coming from, that's got to be a last-ditch effort, in my opinion. We have made tremendous strides in getting these appropriation bills done, getting 3 off the House floor. Let's move forward. We had momentum until the Democrats stuck a stick in our spokes and are trying to wreck the American people. They've got to get out of the way. They've got to quit digging the hole that they have dug and let us move forward and fund the government.
Congressman, you did bring up Xi Jinping there, and I want to quickly ask you about China, because that's another story that we're following very closely here at Bloomberg as President Trump heads overseas for this highly anticipated meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping. I've learned that Missouri is one of the top 3 soybean producing states in this country. What is going to happen if China doesn't agree to these agricultural commitments, purchases, since we know that they have not imported any U.S. supplies so far this harvest season?
Yeah, I'm in a very ag-rich district just south of Kansas City over to Lake of the Ozarks and almost down to the Arkansas border. Our district borders Jason Smith's district, and he has a lot of ag there as well. We have 87,000 farms in the great state of Missouri. We are down from 95,000 farms just 2.5 years ago. Many of those farmers are soybean farmers, and they are about halfway through their harvest right now. We're getting a little rain right now, and that's delayed that. But they're having to put these beans in storage right now until the prices come back up. It is not helping not having a deal with Xi Jinping. I know that they love buying our protein. They love buying our pork, which we also have a lot of that here in Missouri, but they also love our soybeans. And so I think it's incumbent on the president to reach a deal with Xi Jinping to get this trade back going with our soybeans going over to China. I know the president has made some inroads in helping mitigate some of the losses that our farmers and ranchers are seeing here in Missouri and across the United States of America. Thank God that we have this tariff money that's coming in, almost $400 billion right now. He is going to use $30 to $50 billion of that to replenish the Commodity Credit Corporation, which is overseen by Secretary Rollins in the U.S. Department of Agriculture. And that is going to help offset some of the losses in the short-term, I think, downturn for our farmers. This is short-term. I think in the long term, our farmers and ranchers are going to be much better off with the trade deals that President Trump is making. I would much rather have him as our negotiator than Joe Biden.
Well, with that said, in our remaining moment, Congressman, there's been a lot of talk about Argentine beef around here lately, and you've probably heard this. Yeah. The president looking to do some more extra importing to try to lower prices, and that's got a lot of cattlemen and ranchers upset. Did you just give us the answer? Is the answer to eat more pork from Missouri?
Hey, it's the other white meat. You know, pork. I love pork.
I heard that.
I love all. I'm a carnitarian. I love chicken, beef, and pork. But look, I was just at a cattle auction barn in our district yesterday. Prices are extremely high. The ranchers are enjoying the higher prices because they have had such losses over the last couple of years. We have been under a level 4 drought in parts of my district for the last 2 or 3 years. And that has caused the price of beef to go up. A lot of ranchers have had to sell off their herd because they didn't have the grazing grounds. They didn't have the hay. And so a lot of the beef was sold off.